Good morning, and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this fine Thursday morning. It's not fine, it's not fine. We're not going to kid on it. It's fine. Yeah, we're all concerned about the manager, and with that concern for the manager, it's unbelievable to think that Celtic pundits, ex-Celtic players, are publicly having a bit of a dig at each other. And what makes it worse is that the platforms that they're doing it on are owned by Celtic families that sit in the boardroom or have sat in the boardroom and have access at the highest level at Celtic. It's unbelievable. I'll get into the transfer stuff in a minute, but we all seen. I never watched the whole video because I'll be honest, I've got better things to do for 2 hours and 29 minutes. A 2 hour 29 minute podcast with Scott Brown went out on Open Goal. Now, if you don't know Open Goal, it's fronted by Cy Ferry. Everybody thinks it's Cy Ferry's channel. It's not. Open Goal is owned by Paul Thomas Lawwell. Sound familiar? Should do. His dad pretty much ran Celtic for years, and he also runs Football Media Limited, an advertising company. Lawwell owns Open Goal. For Scott Brown to go into Open Goal and slate another midfielder at Celtic, and then tell the world that if Tony Mowbray and Peter Grant hadn't left, Newcastle were sniffing about him that summer and he would have went to Newcastle. If the fans cannot agree, we have organisations within the higher levels of Celtic fighting for supremacy. You then go to Go Radio, which Peter Grant was on, and it was interesting because I don't watch Go Radio and I don't look at it, and you see some interest. They say do not involve politics and football together. No, I know it's a radio show. But it's known for the Go Football radio show. I don't know how much it's on normal radio. I don't care. It's got Barry Ferguson in it. It's got Peter Grant, and Peter Grant was asked his opinion about. I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Peter Grant was asked about his public takedown by Scott Brown. When you look at Go Radio, Go Radio's owned by Lord William Hawkey. Willie Hawkey is vying for the attention of the Celtic fan base. He wants all the Celtic fans to join him. It's absolutely bonkers. There seems to be no love lost between, obviously, the Peter Grant and Scott Brown thing. Peter Grant slated Scott Brown in an article and said that he'd have drove him away for $4 million. There's a comment in. Yeah, he did, and I think that it is the last thing that we need at Celtic. And I tell you one thing: if put them in, they should do a celebrity boxing. Just get it over and done with. Just do a celebrity boxing. Brownie will win all day long because he's a madman. Anyway, I was just about to get to that. Well, I don't think it's rumours. It's more that Everton have been advised to try and get Benji Negrin. It just disappoints me when you have two ex-Celtic. I'm going to say something, and it might annoy a lot of fans, but since 2012, we've watched obviously a club being in complete disarray, and you never seem to get. Fucking who cares about them? Don't care. You know where I was going with it. And to see Scott Brown. I know he's got to make a career for himself, and I know he's just going on these podcasts to put his cell out there, and he's trying to do the TV stuff and all the rest of it, and he's just trying to create controversy. He doesn't care. His football days are over. He doesn't care about Celtic. It was an important part of his career, but he's not one of us. Let's not fucking beat about the bush here. Peter Grant, I don't know what rock he crawled out under to get back onto Celtic TV and make himself such a prominent figure within the Celtic media. And what makes it worse is, having these two families it's bad enough having mainstream media sneak in and have Celtic podcasts, right? I preferred YouTube when it was for just normal people that weren't pros, amateurs. YouTube was the CB of the modern era. You weren't good enough for radio, so you just got your CB and you played tunes. Or you remember when you used to play your tunes there, the CB and that back in the day. It's not going away. Mainstream media will not go away from the trajectory that it's on. But it just disappoints me when you've got two clearly important families from a Celtic perspective, and having people within the organisations it's almost news of the world type stuff. Let's see what we could pull out them to try and get the bad story. Do you know what I mean? Who the fuck does a podcast for 2 hours and 2.5 hours? It's madness. Anyway, enough of that. Leave them to it. Like I say, the Lawwells and Willie Hockey, there seems to be no love lost between the two of them. And young Paul Thomas Lawwell, he's got a couple of media companies and he owns Open Goal. And there, if you don't believe, I'll just show it again. There is the Open Goal Media Limited, and there you go. There's Mr. Lawwell, and goes for Open Goal, Willie Hockey. We all know that. That's Go Radio. Sorry, Go Radio. Open Goal. I have no time for the two of them, to be honest. It's just my honest opinion. I don't listen to any of their shows because I'm not interested. Anyway, let's get back on to Celtic, because Alistair Johnson has told Celtic that he wants away. Chris Sutton has said, listen, Kieran Tierney went for 25 million. Kieran Tierney was at a way younger age than the 27-year-old Canadian. But when you look at 14 million that's a steal. You're almost giving Alistair Johnson away for nothing. It's crazy. And even when you've got the likes of Chris Sutton calling out saying that's too cheap, you should be going for at least 20. We all thought if somebody's going to come in for Alistair Johnson, he's got quite a lengthy contract. You're looking at 20 million anyway. Surely Celtic can't seriously be considering letting Alistair Johnson go for anything under 20. He's only 27-year-old. He could go down to England, he could go to Everton, he could be a success, and they could sell him the next summer for 50, 60, 70 million. And before somebody says, he's never that kind of player, 14 million for a Canadian international who's been to 2 World Cups. Come on. They're pricing him on the basis that he plays in Scotland. That is it. That is the only basis for that. Anyway, Paulo Bernardo, we all know that Paulo Bernardo left, and one of the things that didn't come out at the time is that Paulo Bernardo has left with an option to buy at the end of this season. So Paulo Bernardo, he made 64 appearances in all competitions, scoring 7 goals and supplying 7 assists. And most of those came from the bench. Sad that he's never made it, but he has now left Celtic, and with the option to buy, that's it. You're not going to see Paulo Bernardo at Celtic again. And I think that's kind of disappointing because I was hoping, that Paulo Bernardo would have came true. Baz, on behalf of the Ring the Cigarette Company, and ask them if they can give us 10 players. Boom, boom. All about the jokes this morning. Anyway, Wolves are chapping on the door of a player that Rangers put in a bid for him. Celtic put in a bid for him and it was rejected at 6 million. Rangers put in a bid for them at 8 million. It was rejected. He said he wants to come to Celtic, but Wolves are knocking about the door of Geheges, of whatever he's. I give up. I do give up. Still no actual incomings. Would you expect incomings with the manager not being here this week? Does business go on as normal? It's an interesting one. We'll wait and find out. Anyway, the news of Martin O'Neill has went around the world, as you would expect. I mean, Celtic are a worldwide club. And one of the articles I've seen this morning from around the world was the Washington Post. The Washington Post. Yeah, Scottish champions, says Celtic manager Martin O'Neill has undergone a small procedure. It's got soccer. You can't see the Washington Post, but you can't see it on the screen. Can't see the Washington Post, but anyway, the Washington Post. Glasgow, Scotland. Celtic manager Martin O'Neill has undergone a small procedure in a hospital. The Scottish champion said on Wednesday the 74-year-old Martin O'Neill has signed a 1-year contract extension in June, remained hospitalised. Can't do an American accent, can I? Anyway, he was expecting to be released this week. In response to speculation, we can confirm, but we all read the statement, and that was the statement that they put out. O'Neill led Celtic to the Scottish League and Cup double last season. He had 2 interim spells at the club last campaign, which ended a winning run. The Premiership saw Celtic snatched the trophy from the grasp of Hearts, and a week later Celtic beat Dunfermline in the Scottish Cup. The Northern Irishman was also Celtic manager back in 2000 and 2005, leading the team to 3 league titles and 3 Scottish Cups and a domestic treble in 2001. Notice that they don't talk about Seville. Nobody talks about failure. Only Celtic fans. It's interesting, isn't it? Well, it's not interesting because we know the score, but it's only Celtic fans that talk about Seville and that great memory of going to Seville. It was a failure. We won nothing that season. Crazy, isn't it? But then you scroll down and you see some crazy. Perez Hilton hospitalised after harming himself on a live stream. He needs locked up. But anyway, who cares about that? That is the Washington Post talking about Martin O'Neill being hospitalised, and we all hope that he gets better soon. Right, back to the Alistair Johnston one. How much do you think that Celtic should be getting for Alistair Johnston? Never rated Hassan anyway. He's had one good game in the World Cup. I take it we're not getting him. I'm not even looking at speculation. Business as normal, no business Baz. You should know that by now. Yes, it's no business. Just doesn't happen. We don't get any business done when he's no in hospital. Why would they expect it to get done when he's in hospital? I liked Bernardo, says Jerry. He definitely had something. I worry about our coaching staff. Yes. The coaching staff at Celtic. Thank you, Kid Keeper. Thank you. Don't know what I'm saying thank you for, but thank you. If the board was as quick as buying players, as quick as getting rid of them, we would have a much better shape. But that is wishful thinking, says Paul. Good morning to you, mate. The rumour is he's having a stent put in as he had a heart attack. If that is the rumor, I'm not going to speculate on that. But it goes. I stand by everything that I said on the video last night. I don't know if that is the rumor. I completely stand by everything that I said on the video last night, and I'm just going to leave it at that. I think Martin will be advised to step away. Come on, can we change it? Nothing more from the board about Martin O'Neill, but wishing him well. Get more silence from the board. Don't listen to rumours. Yeah, I'm not going to listen to rumours. I don't think that we should. Whatever has happened, you know, we just get on with it. Anyway, Stent takes about 30 minutes. That's done. You watch, and the same day says Joseph Davidson. Anyway. 20 million for Johnston. How much should we get for Alistair Johnston? Because there's noises down south that they're trying to get up around about 14 million. It's also been said that Everton to make a second approach for Benji Negrin. And to make it worse, Celtic knocked back an offer for a Celtic player. Oh man, I just got a message for the message. She just WhatsApped me. Good morning. Good morning, you're awake then? Oh, private joke, but anyway. Yes, right, talking about Dundee. Came out of Dundee yesterday that Dundee were in for Dane Murray, the 23-year-old who's been named on the bench on Monday's 1-0 win against Dundee. They wanted to take him on loan, but Celtic turned it down. We can't allow, and I don't want to get into he's shite anyway stuff, right? But when you look at the Celtic squad, we cannot allow Dane Murray to go out on loan. We are short as it is. If we allow Alistair Johnston to leave the club, which it looks like we're going to, he's asked to go, right? It leaves us short in that department. Well, we're already kind of short. Well, not really. You've got Colby Donovan and you've got Tony Ralston. Colby Donovan's fantastic backup player. But when you look down and you have Dane Murray, all we have as centre backs is Liam Scales, Austin Trusty, Cameron Carter-Vickers and Dane Murray. We can't allow Dane Murray to go out on loan. We've no one to replace him. I think Celtic are, do you know, looking from the outside, it's as if people are just going, Celtic will sell anybody. Well, ask Celtic for the player. They're piss easy to deal with. That Nicholson, he thinks he's a hard man trying to negotiate deals and get it done, but he just sells at the slightest thing. And it seems to be that that's the way that clubs look at Celtic. That's putting an offer on. I can just put it in, just chance your luck. Fuck it. It's only Celtic. Don't know. It's as if we're not respected anymore. But anyway, we are not in a position to allow Dane Murray to go out on loan. It maybe been good for his development. I don't know how much he went out on loan when he was younger. But he's got a future at Celtic, whether you like it or not. He's going to have an important part to play over the course of the season. I think that Dane Murray should be in the back line for the cup games. And then if things are going terribly wrong, you just bring on a load of forwards to win the game. But anyway, and that is the squad. And Paulo Bernardo will never be seen at Celtic again because he has the option. They have the option to buy Paulo Bernardo this year. The board always sell players before getting new players in. Yeah, we seem to have reverted back to that, didn't they? You should set up an impressions channel, Baz. Just take the pure piss at everyone. Nah, I've got enough on my plate, mate. I've got enough on my plate as it is. If Alistair Johnston wants away, they should do what they did with Dyson. Sell him if we can't get him replaced first. I think it was too late in the transfer window when Dyson wanted to go to Wolfsburg. I would love it to come out. Right, Fozzie. Where the fuck was he? I would love it to come out how much of a loss Celtic made selling Dyson to Ipswich compared to Wolfsburg, because I reckon it's probably about 10 million. I think Celtic are sitting rubbing. We don't know, because it was Martin O'Neill that told us. Nobody knew. Well, we knew that Dyson Maeda had emptied his locker that transfer window, 4 days before the end of the transfer window, and we never knew what team. It never came out what team he was going to, or any speculation. It was interesting. We should keep the youngsters. They're good backup. It's not that they're good backup. We need them. Pablo says, I rate Big Murray. Too many giving the boy stick for a couple of errors. They don't give the boy credit. He's been very good. Yeah, I rate him. I think that he'll be... I always go back to one of the first games that he played for Celtic in the Champions League. And yes, he slipped at the side of the pitch and the player went in and managed to score. But Dane Murray's reaction that day was enough. When as soon as he slipped, he's slamming the pitch because he knew he'd cocked up, to put it in a better way. And that kind of attitude went a long way. I thought he could actually make it at Celtic. Don't know. We'll wait and see. It is early days. He could be... He could be a player like Tony Ralston that's just there in the background for years to come. I think that's fine. You know, that's all a young player wants. Colby Donovan, another young player who's Celtic through and through, by the way. Having seen him speaking to people that he knew in Portugal, he's just Celtic daft, that young boy. You know, and he is living the dream, and that's why I hope that Colby Donovan has an absolutely fantastic season. Also, because you want these good young lads to make a chance. Celtic will Martin O'Neill as an excuse to get none done. Alistair Johnson, Jota, CZV are Celtic class. Yes, they are. Yeah, they are. I noticed that there's been a bit of a tizzy online on Twitter about the fact that I said that Yang isn't Celtic class, because I think that's a lowering of the standards that we've accepted at Celtic over the years. I didn't say he was a bad player. I just I don't think that Yang is... If we had a decent winger at Celtic, Yang would not be first team pick. I stand by that as well. Anyway, what would be incredible today if we replaced somebody before they left. Front page, back page. Yeah, this is very true. Cannot sell half our squad. There's speculation this morning that Celtic are still trying to bring in 6 players in the transfer window. But we'll wait and see. And there's no use talking about the speculation of transfers, because nobody really knows what is going on. So I'm just reading something that's been sent through to me. For Scotland Star... Anyway, we'll come to that later on. Right, let's jump through some more of the comments this morning before we finish up. Is Nicholson away on holiday again? Nobody knows what he's done. Yeah. We badly need quality, not players who can just turn up for us. Yeah, this is true. The Celtic need to name a 23 qualifying squad to get through the Champions League. They need to name the squad for the playoff games, and then they need to update the squad for the if they get into the Champions League. So they need to put forward the squad for the game. Stephen Johnston, what a lad you are. Come on, everybody, thumbs up and subscribe. It's free. £10 super chat from the man himself, Stephen Johnson. Thank you for that this morning, Stephen. We could focus on the academy structure and improve the infrastructure of the club. We have managed to get players in before. I think that's why the 20 million or whatever it was spent, and it wasn't even that, was it? Because it was downsized. It was meant to have indoor seating around the so they didn't even go the full hall with that, did they? I believe that there's no seating facilities inside the training centre down the road. We'll wait and see. We need to name the Champions League squad 5 days before we play, says Joseph Davison. Is Big Des still in here? I think I saw him last week. I hope he's keeping okay, because yeah, I've not seen him for a couple of days anyway. This board has been a total car crash. That's the long-term plan, which is foreign concept to this board, having a youth system that actually works. We used to have one that worked, but yeah, that one, it looks like Celtic are going to get him. That's all I'm saying. Big Des was on earlier this week. He said he had family stuff to deal with. There we go. He had some family stuff to deal with. Right, that is me done and dusted this morning. My thoughts this morning are more with Martin O'Neill and his family. It'll be interesting to see if Celtic do get any business done this week. I suggest that they won't. They don't have the pressure of a manager beating down the door asking to get deals done. And we are 1 week closer to the Champions League. That's a game that's the most important game of the season. We look as if we're on the verge to losing two of our most important players within the squads, Alistair Johnston and Arnie Engels. Before that, can Celtic hold on to those players till after? And that takes it to the... There's two realms of thoughts. You hold on to Alistair Johnston and Arnie Engels until the Champions League game. But that takes you right to the end of the window. Celtic need to get the players in now. We get to the game this weekend. We are then a week and a half away from the Champions League game. To bring in other players at such a late stage is criminal. And once again, the Celtic board are negligent. Absolute negligence in the way that they've run the club this summer. But we can always hope that tomorrow is a better day. I'll leave the last one to Brian. He says, I hope Martin O'Neill is and gets better soon, but I don't expect us to get any deals done this week. I kind of feel the same way. Anyway, have an absolutely fantastic morning, Celtic fans, wherever you are.